Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Gregtech Community Edition Modern. So the failed video that happened yesterday, I basically showed off that I built another HPCA here, managed to get this all working by upgrading it to the UV, and then from there I got the new circuits to be able to make up everything I needed to progress to the final major multi-block milestone in this mod pack. Now, not to say that it's the last multi-block, but there is not really a milestone needed for anything else that is left in the pack after that. Doesn't mean we're not going to do it, because I think that the other two things are going to be fantastic addition, but that is sadly the case of, like, it's supposedly an unfinished pack. I haven't seen any new updates for it that have, like, really drastically changed anything. I guess the other thing that I did that I tried to record was I added 2 more of these plasma turbines here, and I did it in a fashion that I can actually continuously add all the way down the line here, because we don't have the 2 items that cannot be shared on that line. So we have our maintenance hatch and our main block up top with our inputs underneath, so I can just keep adding going down the line. And the important part here is these ones actually use our argon plasma that I've whipped up so that I have a way to produce even more power, which, if I max them out, I guess it's stuck at it. Oh, no, that's not the maximum amount. I think the maximum amount was like 380. 380. What is it doing? Hello? What are you making? Oh, I know what you're making. Never mind. But today we've got to make, and I know it seems like a short while since the previous jump, we've now got to make the Mark III. And this one, what I'm going to go ahead and do is try to outline the best that I can with the blocks, making sure that we're actually on a chunk border. So it looks like if we back up, it's not going to give us enough space, so we need to come all the way back over here. Want to see if we can find some sort of blocks that we can use to color the area different. So, like, let's look at block. Do we have make some Certus quartz block? That would be a patchy thing. So what emerald? We have any dirt? We have dirt. I don't know if I really want to use those blocks though. Is there anything really notable that we can see pretty quickly? Doesn't cost too much to make. Oh, we could use some sandstone. That sounds like a good one. Do like 24 of those. We'll go to 32. Why not? 32. Okay, so now we need to figure out our chunk border zone. So it looks like we go right over here, maybe? One. Well, right there. Now if I do... Nope, not that one. Map. That is directly in the spot that we are looking to fill in. Okay. Enough of this. M. Yep, right there in the corner. Now we just gotta line it up with our edge over here. Looks like this... What the... This should be our spot there. And if we just go ahead and double check that, we are good on that one. Now if we line it up with whatever... It looks like it's our crate over here. Go make sure we don't mine everything. And that should line us up. Nope, one more. One more. So we'll do that there, and we can replace this block. So this outlines our chunk border. And go right here. Boom. Chunk borders are now aligned. So now I wanted to double check this. So we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So it is just shy of the full amount. So if we start by aligning it in the back, that'll do us our best guess of making sure it's inside of that chunk so we don't have any issues. I really do think that that's the problem that I'm currently having with the other one, where it just doesn't want to stay processing because of that. We need our input hatches. So we're going to go ahead and grab out our fusion coils, put that away there, and we'll put the spray paint back in the backpack. How about that? And we need our input hatches. Is it input or output on the bottom? Input. Input is on the bottom. We'll start with those two, and then those are going to be our front ones that we're going to insert items into, just because I like to have a large stockpile. So we need to find roughly where the center is. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That would be the center right there. So we're going to keep it here to start. Actually, I don't want it that close to the edge, so we'll go ahead and back it off from the edge. 1. We'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's the center, our input hatches, and let's get this show on the road. It's not supposed to be there. That's going to be input, input. 2, 1, 1, 2. Input, input, and back here. 1, 2, 1, 1, 2. Input, input, back again. Almost. 1, 1, 2. And that should be done right there. And now we just got to get ourselves this center area, which we need our output blocks, our fusion glass, and our energy hatches for that. So let's go ahead and set these inside here. We'll take our fusion coil blocks, because those can be handy for getting our energy hatches down. And then we just need our fusion glass, output hatches, and the main block. I guess we're going to place down these first in our corners, just like the other ones. Make it a little bit easier so we don't have to keep breaking dirt. Let's go ahead and grab out some dirt, though, in the meantime, as that is an easy block to put down and replace when we need to. We need our energy hatches. So let's go around placing them where they need to go. Okay, that is not the direction I want it, though. I do like to have them all facing the direction they're going to be inwards, towards each other like that. And same thing on the outside, as it just kind of makes it easier to hook up with more wires if we really want to. So we only have to have one input spot for each of the 4 sections. Haven't upgraded the way that it goes through there, because I don't really want to end up using way more power than I actually can allocate, but is a decision for me to make on that part, so that is perfectly fine. We're going to go ahead and input all of our inside fusion glass, just like so, and now we just need to put in our dirt blocks on either side of those so that we can get down the rest of the blocks needed for this layer, and then remove them afterwards. Alright, so 1, 2, we need our inputs, our outputs facing here and here, glass in between, and then glass, glass, output, output, glass in between, glass, 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 output, output, glass in between, glass, 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 output, output, glass in between, glass, glass. And I realized we actually forgot that this is not going to be glass. This is going to be our computer. And so now we just got to add our inputs to the inside. I realize I don't actually need to crouch for each of those. I just need to crouch for placing the glass on them. Okay, so now comes the other part, which kind of gets a little bit interesting, where we can place that there. But once we get started, we're going to actually need some of our dirt to be placed in some different areas to help us get some blocks down. As a lot of these blocks overlap in empty air blocks areas, so just gotta fill a block in everywhere there, and we just need our... I guess we put it back in the chest here. Our new blocks and our other input hatches. So our input hatches are gonna go on top, and then we could just take that out. 1 and 2. And then we're going to go... Let's actually do this, maybe. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. We can go there, there. That's interesting. Did not quite expect that. And 1, 2, 3. We do need the corners filled in. I almost forgot about those parts. And... Ooh, let's just turn the hover mode off at this point. It is a little bit finicky. And input. 1, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and 3. We got 1, 2, 3, 1, 1. Oh. 1, 2, 3. And there we have it, guys. The Mark III Fusion Reactor up and running. So now we got to get to see if we can pipe this down to one of our active transformers we got. So we're going to go ahead and hook it in right there. Clip those wires together, just for good measure. We're going to have to reactivate our hover mode so that we can find where we're going to go plug this in at. Where did it go? Hello? I feel like I'm blind. All right, and down to the bottom. Make it easier to bring over. And now I guess our closest one is going to be that one. So maybe just bring it straight across over to where we can just line it straight up with it. Almost there, probably 1, 2 more. Looks like that's a good spot. We can line up and go down. Now, we're going to have to go down 1 right here. Push that back in the rest of the way. And we are out of wires. So, wire, we got our superconductor wire right there. Go ahead and do up another 64 of those. See if this 16 is enough to get us where we gotta go. Ooh, we're cutting it a bit close, but it looks like we just barely make it. So now this is where we're going to have to grab out the blocks we were working on. So we have ourselves a UV dynamo by 4. So this, we're going to go ahead and turn this off. Break this out. Place down our thing and reactivate transformer. And once we snip it in, it's now going to start adding in our power. Which that is going to take a little bit of time to charge, as that is a lot of power it's going to ask for. Just wanted to see how much power we actually have threaded through that. It's It's actually not sending any power right now. Has me a little bit confused. Oh. How about this one? Oh, we're already full. Wow. That is pretty amazing. Okay, so now we just got to get ourselves a setup to allow us to set auto crafting up. So the first thing we're going to do is make sure that we have our water inputs. We do not want to have an issue again where it gets sent to the wrong place because we forgot our water logging inputs, or outputs, I guess. Inputs doesn't matter that much, but the outputs for sure does, considering you hook it up to exit out of one of those inputs or outputs, and it doesn't end up making it there because there's another output it could distribute out to. Then you're sitting there wondering, like the time that I made of your V2, where is my stuff? So, just going to keep doing that. I think we got all of them. Let's just double check. Ones that I'm a little bit concerned about are these first ones because I started cycling through them so fast. It looks like we're all set on that. We now need to get ourselves a connection brought over. So let's go ahead and come down. We've got a connection we can bring over from right here. Nice part is that connection does not have to cross over our power line. So let's go ahead and grab that, bring it all the way over. Just make sure, maybe I can look at it. See, this is the problem I got with this stuff. There we go. And now there's only a few things we can craft using this, but there is the main ones that are important. So we need to go ahead and grab ourselves one of our pattern providers. Attach that on up like so. With ourselves an interface. And from there we need ourselves some storage buses, which I don't... Oh, we do have 4 of them. Those are good. That will provide me what I need there. And then we need one more interface to bring it all back into the system. Okay, 1, 2, 3, and there. And then we just need to make sure we have ourselves a quartz fiber cable there. We'll go ahead and grab out the one red ME glass cable that I have and grab out one of our spray paint bottles so we can do this in a different color in the back here. 1, 2, 3. And put down our red quartz fiber, and that should all power up as well. Nice. Nice. Now we can craft ourselves up some very important materials. And since it's on a chunk border, force chunk load that thing. We need that. So now it's time to get ourselves that next material that is the important part that we need to actually craft up anything else new, which is Neutronium. Oh boy. I don't think I can sleep to get rid of this, but it is messing with frames now. Got a lot of stuff going on. Yes, we can. Sweet. Oof. Alright, so turn hover mode off. Now we need to look at ourselves some Neutronium. Neutronium. So we've got basically 3 different liquids that come out of that. But we need this liquid Neutronium, which requires Nadacaria and American. Fortunately, we know how to make both. And instead of making only 0.016 buckets, so instead of making 16 millibuckets, it now makes 32. It's a much better recipe for us because that is going to increase the speed at which we can get some ingots out. But once we do that, we now need to make sure we've got it. Ooh, what is this? Quantum star? Oh, that's right. That's how we make our Neutronium star. Let's go ahead and get that recipe up and running too. But we need to use this inside of a fluid solidifier to get ourselves some Neutronium ingots. So honestly enough, we do have our fluid solidifier right here. We don't want this one. We want this one back here. Boom. And then we can go put those, that can go in an autoclave on the other side there. At least I hope we have the right power. And not this one. What am I looking at? I'm looking at this one over here. Put our Neutronium into there. So now if we go ahead and we say, hey, let's start crafting up 64 of these. Can we start that? We're going to use a ton of Nadacaria, a ton of chromium, a ton of silicone, and lanthanum. So we are going to go through multiple step processes to get all of this. But we'll let that start executing. You should see the first thing to kick on should be this one over here. Working is disabled because it's been obnoxious to me. No idea exactly why, and I don't appreciate it. We got 4 amps going through that. Is that hooked up to anything else, or is that hooked up to just itself? It's just hooked up to that. How many amps we got coming out? We could do, and maybe add to that really quick. See if we can actually get that power up a little bit faster. Let's go grab this spot right here. And go, boom. Wire cutters. Just see if this actually works or not. Kind of hoping it does. And doesn't create a big boom that I'm not expecting. But, I mean, if it does, then we know better next time. So now, that should be doing 8. That's not, because this thing shut down again, I bet. Again, I still have no idea why this has been such a problem. Okay. It is working. Getting our duranium. Now the question is that... Oh, that's for this. So it is going to be a second before it starts working on our Neutronium. Let's go ahead and go put that quantum star inside of our autoclave. Is this is chemical bath. Is the autoclave? I think this is it. Yeah, this is it. There we go. Right? I actually did not check. Is that? Yeah, it is going to the autoclave. Okay. So that will make us the gravity stars, which is pretty awesome. Just gotta check. We do have IV tier, so that should suffice us for that. With the Neutronium, that unlocks a whole lot of other things for us to do. We can get our Neutronium-doped silicone bools as soon as we get our very first ingot. That's what I'm hoping to see is soon enough. We're now making ourselves some Americum. Just got to get up to the amount that we need to start doing Neutronium. There's Ludium. Can't wait to see this thing power on. First one. 32 millibuckets of Neutronium. Nice. It looks like it's actually like power stable, quite power stable. It's good to see. And that should help us get what we're looking for relatively quickly. It looks like it is also processing up. What are we doing? Oh, our silicone. Okay. I like how fast it is with the NADAC coils, and I guess we're using LUV power right now. Haven't switched over to UV just yet. Especially as the rate at which we're going to be using power right now is probably insane. Oh, not too bad. I guess it's because we're not constantly running that fusion reactor that it doesn't actually bleed us out that bad. It's only running every few minutes. Or maybe not. Maybe a few minutes. Every 2 to 3 minutes there. So, you want to go check up on... Okay, so this is running just fine. This one is running just fine. Now, what about the rest of the stuff in the recipe? So, chromium's going to take a second because we're currently melting down silicone. It looks like it's not too worried about that much chromium. We are melting down tons of it. We did get plenty of chromium as I've been doing that platinum sludge. I believe we can get chromium from that. Chromium dust. Right there. So you get it through iron dust. Oh, not the washer. Where is it? Not centrifuge. Maybe that? No. I feel like there's a way to get it that I'm just not remembering. There it is. That's chromite, not chromium. So, electrolyzer, centrifuge. We got the ruby slurry. We've got the canthal. I do feel like it was one of these things that we were doing, not stainless steel. Okay, what is this for? Haste alloy? To look at that. Oh, bauxite. That's where we're getting it from. So let's go back over here. What was that? Haste alloy. Use that to make haste alloy ingots. Use that. Make haste alloy frames. Oh! This is going to be for our vat mixer, which we're definitely going to make one of these when it comes to some of the next stuff we're going to use. As otherwise, we won't be able to do the rotary blast furnace like I want to. But there is our very first set of Neutronium ingots, which is awesome. This is exactly what we're looking for, as this is going to break us through to the final tier that we'll have access to. I don't know if we have quite enough yet. We don't have quite enough yet to do ourselves the Neutronium doped monocrystal silicon boule. However, we could get that set up. So let's go set that up over here. And that should allow us to go ahead and craft that up pretty shortly. I just want to make sure that didn't... Yeah, okay, that didn't do the thing. Okay, we're good. Mono... This one. We got all of those. Because once we get this one, we can saw this in... saw thing. Oh, I guess we need to do the rest of those recipes all at once. Why not? So, uses for that, we need to put it in the cutter. Not with water. Recipe with a lubricant to make it faster. And then from there, we can do it on any of the wafers. So we're going to have to go replace a lot of our stuff so that we can use the Neutronium as our main way of doing things now, as it yields our best amount of each one of these chip things. But the one that we want the most is this very first one, the HASOC wafer. Because this, once that gets cut up, can be used to make these better wetware circuit boards. And we don't have to use them with the crappier recipes. So let's go ahead and get that. So we can set that all up. And we need the Neutronium doped in there. We need our saw, which is over here. This one... Where is it? Oh, it's the bottom one there. We need that and this one in there, so we can both cut the wafer and get our material. And then our final thing of engraving it on our laser. Where did I put it? Is it this one? Yeah, there's our black lens for the HASOC. Okay, and now our final straw, which I guess we should look at this. Just a regular clean room. So it is this one. So if we take this chip thing out, put that one in, we now have our better wetware processing units. And I think that's quite literally all that that's used for. That is literally it. It just makes making the LUV circuits a lot cheaper. I'm pretty sure we've got NADAC bolts up there already. Let's go check that. Make sure all of the other components are craftable. Yep, everything is now craftable for that. So that makes our best version of the circuits. We might actually even be able to start one of those rules. If I could stop fat fingering keys, that'd be great. We want that one. Not quite. Let's look at our crafter here. So it looks like we've just got enough to start it. So let's go ahead and queue one of these up and see how quickly we can get through this. Because I guess we can dump off the blank pattern there so we don't have that in our inventory anymore, clogging up any space. Let's go look. How quickly are we going to get through all of those ingots that we're crafting? Pretty fast, honestly. Where's our input? Right there, 64. So, and yeah, it takes literally no time at all to get that done. So I will be back once we actually see this thing start going off. Because this is definitely going to take some time, as we need how many for that? 32 blocks? Wow. What, so 2880? 288? So yeah, that's going to be a second. We'll be right back. Alright, so we're approaching the tail end of our silicone smelt. And that is done, and we should see this go on at any second here. Oh no. Wait, no, that should work. It says it needs xenon, right? If it needs argon, we got a problem. I think it said it needs argon, actually. No, it says it needs xenon. So it's scheduled. Do we have xenon in there already? I was just not seeing that right. We don't have another input for it. Ooh, that's a slight problem. Would be... So let's go ahead and edit this recipe. Xenon. So this needs to go there. There. So that's going to do that. We need to go edit this recipe so that we don't have to have the xenon gas put in there. And cancel that out. Done. Boom. Let's go find it and see if we can cancel it. Can we cancel? We can. Okay. Hopefully that returned all the materials back to where they're supposed to go. And we should be able to just craft this up without needing to craft everything else. Yep. So now we should see that go in there. And fail to set up recipe. Insufficient inputs. Says not enough inputs. Oh, we're waiting on the xenon gas. That's why. Okay. There we go. Ooh, that's a long time because our power voltage is not very high. 450 seconds. That is just over 6 minutes. 5 would be 300. 7 minutes, just over 7.5 minutes for one of these. Definitely need to upgrade the power voltage on this at some point. But that is definitely the goal, to get advanced transformer. Honestly, though, is it really worth it at this point, considering we're not going to be doing too much more with that, actually? I think this might actually be the only one of these that gets crafted up, which is silly enough in my opinion there, but I guess we'll see. We will definitely see. The last thing that we can really take our Neutronium and start grabbing some of is the wire. So let's go ahead and look at the Neutronium wire, which is made out of this one. So to get that, we would need a layer of 15. We need neon gas to be able to make this. I don't think we have any neon gas, but we will go ahead and check that right after we get this. We've got ruthenium dust. We need to tell it how to get both of these dusts really quick. So let's go ahead and grab that out of the electrolyte, or the macerator. Let's get this one out of macerator as well. And now it's time to check this. So the neon gas we get from distilling liquid nether air, which we are definitely not doing at the moment. Don't really want all those extra inputs, and I am totally fine with waiting a little bit longer for that recipe. How much does it speed things up? So 525. That's a lot of difference there. I think for now we don't have a number there, so we do need to get ourselves some neon. So I guess we'll have to wait until next time for that. For sure. Just because I'm going to have to set up a whole new setup to get that neon air and probably just void everything else out. Neon gas is the 1, 2, 3. It's the final one. Oh. Full gas. Was there anything we were thinking about wanting to get from this? Ethyl benzene? Not really. Naphthalene, but we're using that, I believe, to make something. Yeah, we're making some of that. We don't have any neon, right? If I just have some neon lying around, I'd be okay. Yeah, no, there's no neon. So I'm just gonna have to get my nether air into a distillery. Thought I was using that somewhere already. Oh yeah, we were for nether stars. Silly me. Well, yeah, we'll definitely have to put up another thing for that. How close are we on this now? We should be... Yeah, that's going to be a while away. So I think with that, we will go ahead and say thank you very much for watching, guys. We now have ourselves our Tier 3 nuclear fusion reactor, so that we can now make ourselves some wonderful neutronium. Basically the super material of this mod pack. It makes the best pipes. We can make the best UHV wires to be able to transfer UHV power if we decide to ever assign any of our machines to that. On top of the fact, this opens up the final 2 machines of this mod pack, which, while they may be a little bit inconsequential, as there's not really much else to do with it much after that, it is still nonetheless 2 more things in Gregtech for us to learn about and to be able to put together before actually having to be figuring out what we're going to do from there. So thank you guys very much for watching. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, as I do appreciate the feedback, as well as each one of you that does sit down to watch this video. You guys all have a great day. Bye!